Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be doing a first impression / review on the new Maybelline Dream Urban Cover Full Coverage Protective Makeup with Sunscreen. I really love Maybelline foundations, and I have to say that when this one first came out, I wasn't really intrigued. If I'm not mistaken, I might have even put this in an anti-haul video, but when I actually saw this in person and then I saw more and more people reviewing it here on YouTube, I was like, okay, there must be something about this foundation that people really like. And thinking about it, I do love Maybelline foundations. I almost have every single one that they've launched, so I just went ahead and purchased it. I figured we could do a first impression and review it together, and I will let you guys know how I feel about it. I have not watched anyone else's review. Despite seeing so many of these videos in my description box, I have avoided watching anyone's review just to avoid any like preconceived notions of this foundation, just so I could get a true first impression and it could be 100% my thoughts with no like prior thoughts in my brain. So if you guys are new to my channel or haven't seen any of my reviews yet, how I typically lay out my reviews is that first I'm going to be going over basic stuff and like specs of the foundation, price point, shade range, how much product you get in the foundation and stuff like that. Then towards the middle of the video, we will be doing an application and then the wear test and final thoughts towards the end of this video. But if you guys want to skip around or only care about one thing or another, I will have timestamps in a pinned comment down below. So if all of that sounds good to you guys and you want to hear my thoughts and my first impressions on the new Maybelline Dream Urban Cover Foundation, make sure to keep on watching. So just to get started talking about some of the specs of this foundation, I would say the most intriguing thing about this foundation is the fact that it is SPF 50. SPF 50 is a very high SPF for a foundation. A lot of foundations maybe range from SPF 15 to 25, maybe 30 on the high end, but I would say anywhere between like 15 and 25 is most common when it comes to SPF in actual cosmetics like foundation, concealer, stuff like that. And another claim about this foundation that really stood out to me is that it is antioxidant enriched with pollution protection for the skin. I've never heard of a foundation that has a claim like that. I thought it was really interesting. And of course, with the SPF in there, it's going to block UV as well. So just to read you guys a little bit more about the foundation on Maybelline's website, I will also pop it up right here so you guys could read along. It says, experience Maybelline's first protective foundation makeup specifically formulated to shield skin from harmful environmental aggressors. This lightweight foundation has broad spectrum SPF 50 and is enriched with antioxidants to protect against pollution. It not only leaves a natural looking finish, but protects skin day after day. Available in 16 shades, dermatologist tested. The shade range of this foundation is 16 shades, definitely not the greatest shade range ever. I think that they are a little bit heavy on the lighter shades and it kind of jumps to the deeper shades really quick. Again, I will pop a picture of the online swatches right here, but I do just think Maybelline can do better. I think one of the things that baffles me the most about Maybelline still releasing such small shade range is that they have 40 shades in their Fit Me foundation. I don't know why they can't just reformulate all of those shades into the different formulas of foundation. It's really inconsistent to me that some of their foundations like the Matte and Poreless or the Dewy and Smooth can have 40 shades, but then stuff like this only has 16. It's a really big decrease in shades and that just makes it way less inclusive. I really wish that Maybelline would just extend that big Maybelline Fit Me range across all of their foundations, because I love their foundations and I would want everyone to have the chance to use them. So I think that is definitely something that they have to work on. The Dream Urban Cover retails for $12.99. Typically it's going to be that price in store. I purchased mine on Amazon for around 10 and change, so definitely keep that in mind. Drugstore makeup is typically cheaper on Amazon. You got a really standard amount of foundation in here, which is 1 fluid ounce or 30 milliliters, and I believe that is all of the basics that I wanted to cover about this foundation. Just to give you guys an overall statement on the claims, it claims that it is lightweight, full coverage, and also has a natural finish. So let's go ahead and put this foundation to the test. I'm really intrigued to see how this performs throughout the day. Let's just stop rambling and put it to the test. Just to show you guys that I'm prepping my skin as always before I apply this foundation, just so I use my tried and true products, just so if something doesn't look 100% right or if it starts to break down, I know that it is the foundation and not what I prep my skin with. So first I'm going to be going in with the MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus just to prep the skin and spray this all over. And for my face primer, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer today just to further prep the skin and have a nice canvas for the foundation. So the two shades that I purchased in this foundation are 120 Classic Ivory and 130 Buff Beige. I purchased both of these because I usually wear around 120 in Maybelline foundations. One thing that I find very inconsistent with Maybelline foundations is their shade. Like I could purchase 120 in 3 different foundation formulas and the shade will be like a little bit different. So I never really know what to wear, but I wear in between 118 and 120 in my Superstay. So I picked out 120, but I also did just get a tan on vacation and I was wearing 130 in the Superstay for a few days. So I got 130 in the Dream Urban cover as well. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch them both on my face just so you guys can see the shades side by side, and then I'll decide which one I'm going to wear. And just to quickly show you guys the packaging, it is just a typical squeezy tube, which I don't really love. I really prefer pumps more. So this is what the foundation formula looks like. This actually looks like it might be a pretty decent color for me. It's not super runny, but I wouldn't say it's very thick and moussey as well. It's a really nice in-between kind of consistency. So this right here is the shade 120 Classic Ivory. That might work for me right now. I think that might be a good shade. I think 130 is going to be too dark. I also feel like that shade is definitely getting darker as it sits on the skin a little bit. But let's do shade 130. Oh wow, that's like really orange. As far as how dark the shade is, I think that might match my tan a little bit better, but the undertone is just way too orange. I don't think that I will be able to really pull that off. So I think I'm gonna be sticking with the shade 120, even though I think it's like a little bit too light. I feel like it has that really nice neutral undertone and the undertone matches my neck a lot better. And I have mentioned this before, but I personally would rather match an undertone and have the shade be like half a shade too light or half a shade too dark, because really having that perfect undertone will still kind of give the effect that the foundation matches you. If you have a foundation, let's say that's dark enough but it's too orange, it's going to be a lot more noticeable than the previous scenario, like I said. So I think for this foundation, I'm definitely going to be the shade 120. I'm not sure if I should use a sponge or a brush. I don't know why the formula just feels like something that will work better with a sponge, but I typically use a brush, so I think I'm going to be trying both and just see what works better. I don't know how much of this to use. This definitely has a sunscreeny type scent, and if you guys can see, it definitely is more of a thin formula. Like when I swipe it, it's super thin and it already feels really lightweight, and I didn't even blend it out yet. Here's the foundation on my nose, chin, and cheek right here. I'm sure you guys could see that this is very dewy, but I don't think that it has a lot of coverage. It definitely is evening out the skin a little, like compared to this cheek. It definitely looks pretty, but I definitely so far wouldn't say that this is full coverage really at all. I pretty much see like everything peeking through, but I do think that it adds a really nice light layer on the skin, and I do like the finish. I could really see myself liking this for like a light summer day when I don't want a lot of coverage. So far not full coverage, but I'm also not mad about it because I think it looks really pretty on the skin. For my right cheek, I'm going to go in with a sponge, and I actually am growing to like this applicator because you could just apply it directly on the skin. I know it's probably not the most sanitary, but I know my skin is clean, so I want to try this half of the face with a sponge. I just have a feeling that it's going to work really nice with a sponge. Here's what the skin is looking like after one layer of foundation. This is really, really pretty. Like I mentioned earlier, I definitely don't think right now that it is full coverage. I am going to try to build it up a little bit, but at the same time, I'm not mad about it. And I'm sure you guys can see that this is very dewy, very glowy and pretty on the skin. I feel like this reminds me a lot of their Dream Satin Liquid foundation. This is their Dream Satin Liquid right here, and I feel like the finish reminds me a lot of that, as well as the coverage. Definitely giving me a similar vibe, but the Urban cover is definitely more on the thin side, where the Dream Satin Liquid is definitely a little bit more of a moussey consistency. But I feel like as far as like finish and even that like glowy aspect on the skin, these two are really reminding me a lot of each other right now. I'm going to try to layer this up a little bit just because you guys know I do like at least a high medium coverage, I would say, and I just feel like some spots need a little bit more coverage, especially like my cheeks, maybe a little bit up on my forehead. So I'm just going to apply a little bit more in some spots. So let's see how this layers. I see that the more foundation that I put on, the more dewy that I am becoming. This is definitely dewy. This probably would not be a good like special event slash flash photography foundation, especially with that SPF 50 in there. This definitely is not a good event foundation unless you're going to be like outside and taking photos outside without flash. Then maybe you could pull this one off, but definitely not like an indoor flash foundation for sure. But this is looking so pretty, you guys. And then here's a close-up of the skin with 2 layers of the foundation on. So I don't think I would apply any more of this just because I am a little worried about this starting to break up on the skin if you put too much on. It just has that texture of foundation that will kind of just slip and slide apart if you put way too much of it on, if that makes any sense. But here's the 2 layers, and I do really like how it's looking. I do wish that this was a little bit more coverage, but that's just personally me. Right now I'm gonna go ahead and apply some concealer. I'm going to try to keep the concealer like just underneath my eyes so I don't affect the foundation and the look of it too much. I'm gonna try not to go super concealer crazy today. So I'm gonna do that. I'm also going to be applying the rest of the products, finish up my face, and then I will come back to tell you guys some more final thoughts. Here is what the foundation looks like with the rest of the products on top. I think that it looks absolutely beautiful. I think all the products applied so nicely. I did not have any issues applying like my bronzer, blush, highlighter, anything like that. I think that everything looks so gorgeous. So far, one of my favorite things about this foundation is definitely the finish. Even though I powdered, you could still see some of that dew coming through on the forehead. Of course, what you guys are seeing here is my highlighter, but I feel like elsewhere on the face, it still looks really like fresh, which I love. I love this more type of like lightweight, fresh, dewy look in the summer. So far, I am really liking this. I definitely think it lives up to the claims that it is lightweight. I don't think that I would consider this full coverage, but again, I'm not mad about it because I still think that it covered what I needed it to cover, and it feels really pretty on the skin. So right now, we're gonna go on into the wear test. It is 1:12 in the afternoon right now, but I finished applying the foundation around 12:45, so we're gonna start the check-in time at 12:45. So I will see you guys in a few hours. In your time, it'll be about half a second, but I will check in with you guys in a few hours my time so we could see how the foundation is holding up, how it looks on the face, and all of that good stuff. So I will see you guys soon. Hi guys, so I'm back to do my first check-in. It is 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so that means it has been 3 hours and 15 minutes since I first applied the foundation. Like I mentioned earlier, I applied the foundation around 12:45. I'm a little out of focus. I applied it around 12:45, so it's been 3 hours and 15 minutes, and just by taking a look at my face, I don't really feel like much has changed. Also, sorry if the lighting is a little bit yellow. It is 4 o'clock, so the sun is starting to shine really bright in my room. So looking at the foundation, I feel like it still looks really nice. I don't really see much of a difference. Nothing's breaking down, but honestly, after 3.5 hours, unless the foundation is like super terrible, I usually don't see much of a change. But I feel like the skin looks really great. It still looks dewy. I feel like I am starting to get a little bit more shiny on the center of my face, but not in a greasy way. I just think the foundation is kind of melding with the natural oils on my skin. It looks really beautiful though, you guys. I am still very happy with it. I do have to say though, I did notice that I think my chin looks a little bit more dry than it usually does. I don't know why. I usually don't have dry skin on my chin, but for some reason this particular foundation, my chin does look like a little bit dry and textured. I'll zoom in so you guys can see. So we're getting a little up close and personal, but I really want you guys to see how this looks up close, especially on my chin. There is a little bit of that texture showing through. Definitely looks a little bit dry around the mouth and chin area here. I don't know if it's really going to pick up on camera that well, especially since I'm so zoomed in and I turned down the brightness, but I really hope that you guys can get a sense of how this foundation looks. Of course, it's not going to look like amazing up close because I don't really think any foundation or much makeup looks good this up close, but just to show you guys some problem areas that I'm having, but really nothing bad, nothing that would stop me from wearing this foundation again because I really like it so far. Hi guys, so right now I'm going to be doing the last check-in of the night. It is 9:48 at night, if you guys can see that. So that means I've had the foundation a little bit over 9 hours now. Here's what the foundation is looking like from afar. I know I look a little bit like a hot mess. I'm really tired and I honestly just can't wait to wash my face and get in the shower, but I really wanted to give you guys a look at what the foundation looks like after 9 hours of wear. I feel like from far away this still does look really pretty. I definitely think the skin did start to get oily at some point because I do see a lot more oils breaking through than I did see at the last wear test. I would say around like the 6 or 7 hour mark is when I did start to get a lot more shiny, but I think the foundation looks really nice from far away, but when you zoom in I do see a few issues with it. I'm gonna zoom you guys in so maybe you could see it as well. I'm still seeing a lot of those like dry patches that I saw, like I pointed out earlier to you guys. Again, this would just be like a lot of oil settling in the side of my nose, which I probably could fix with just like a blotting sheet or some powder. So I really don't want to write off this foundation at all because it's oily, because this could have been easily fixable if I blotted earlier or powdered earlier, but I really wanted you guys to see what it looked like without being blot or anything like that. So I would say definitely oil gathering around my nose, and I do also see it like breaking down on my nose again, which is very, very common for foundations on me. And then it did also break down around my hairline, which is where I did get a tan, and I do have a lot of dry patches. I did feel like it had some issues sticking to those dry patches up there. I definitely think that this would look really pretty, and again, even better if I went in with some powder or blotting sheets throughout the day. I felt like I could really keep some of the shininess down and maybe just keep the foundation a little bit more even, because once the oil mixes in with the foundation, that's when it's going to start to like break up in certain areas, at least on me. So I feel like again, if I were just like blotted earlier or powdered earlier, I could have kept the foundation together longer and made it last even longer on the skin. I do think you will like this foundation the most if you are looking for something a little bit more light and easy day to day, something that's going to give you a little bit more glow that's not going to be heavy on the skin. So with that being said, if you guys are into super full coverage, very like smooth, perfected, like Instagram or like event looking skin, I don't think this is the foundation for you. I think this foundation is going to be better for those of you that like a little bit of a lighter makeup, lighter coverage, just like an easy base and you could run out the door type of foundation. Hi guys, so I am super informally interrupting this review on the Maybelline Dream Urban cover because I have a bit of an important update for you guys that I feel like couldn't wait until a future update video. I feel like it is really necessary for you guys to know all of the information about my experience with this foundation now. So I didn't even set up my lighting or anything. I'm sitting really casually just at my vanity. So basically after I washed my face, I was feeling really itchy on the skin. When I was actually wearing the foundation, I was not feeling itchy. Everything felt comfortable. But as soon as I took off the foundation and I let my skin breathe, it felt really, really itchy. And that was kind of concerning to me because I do suffer from eczema. Sometimes I get patches or just full on breakouts or rashes like all over my body. I have very sensitive skin. So I definitely could say I am chancing stuff when I try out new face products. But unfortunately, I did get a little bit of a reaction from using this foundation. I do feel grateful that it wasn't a bad one. I definitely wasn't super swollen or super red or itchy, but I did get a lot of red little bumps on the lower half of my face, also on my nose nose and on the middle of my forehead. It's now the next day and it already cleared up pretty quickly, which is nice, but it definitely did give me a reaction there. So I think I personally had a little bit of the reaction to SPF. I don't know what I'm necessarily allergic to. I've been to allergists, dermatologists, and no one could really pinpoint why I get these random rashes. I mean, I just had one on vacation and I didn't know if it was from the chlorine or the SPF or just being exposed to the sun. I don't really know, but this unfortunately did give me a reaction. I will pop up some photos of what my skin looked like. Like I said, it wasn't horrible, but it was just really textured. It was red and my skin was itchy. I wanted to scratch my face even though I was trying not to. So here are some photos that I took after the shower last night, and I'm just really sad because I really wanted to continue trying this foundation. I thought it was going to be a really nice, like, easy summer foundation, poolside foundation, but I don't think I feel comfortable putting this on my skin anymore. So just all in all, to conclude this review, unfortunately, I don't think I want to keep wearing this, but I also don't want to say that I don't recommend it because I know that everyone's skin is different. So that's why I wanted to still go ahead and put this video up and let you guys decide depending on how sensitive your skin is. If you guys do have sensitive skin, if you feel like certain ingredients or SPF breaks you out easily, or if you just have sensitive skin where you're really unsure about trying new things, you might want to stay away from this one. But if you guys have skin that doesn't typically break out, that's really good with all sorts of ingredients and different products that you use, I still wanted to put this video up for you so you guys could see how it wears, how it applies, and so you could just get to know the foundation a little bit more. So I hope that all makes sense. But all in all, I still hope that you guys enjoyed seeing this video and found it helpful. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure that you guys are subscribed to my channel before you leave. I would love to have you guys here as part of my little YouTube fam. If you don't want to miss out on any of my future videos, click that notification bell down below and you'll get notified every single time that I upload a new video. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and of course, I will see you in my next one. Bye guys!